Welcome to the Energy Pipeline Podcast, sponsored by Caterpillar. My name is Josh Lowrey. We are coming to you live from the Daniel Energy Partners Thrive Energy Conference 2026, powered by Upright Digital. My name is Josh Lowrey. I am joined, this is a good one, Brett, a friend of mine actually too. This is Brett Schellenberg, the Vice President of Global Sales at Nabors Industries. Welcome, Brett.
Thanks, I'm happy to be here. Happy to be at the stadium and looking forward to some baseball coming up pretty soon.
So I agree. Spring training is kind of already started, actually.
Yep.
I don't even know the dates. Like we're late February right now. Mm-hmm. This is Daikin Park now.
Yeah.
We are on the suite level. This is, I mean, you've been to the Thrive before though, right?
Yeah, we love it. There's not a ton of events that we do. Mm-hmm. Thrive is always one of them that's on the calendar. The barbecue is one that's always on the calendar, right. And then ADIPEC, you kind of got to be there. But we're pretty selective, and this is one of the ones that we spend some time on.
Well, we're going to come to ADIPEC and Soiree here in a minute because
right.
that kind of blends with some of our conversations we were having offline. There's a lot to talk about. You know this about me, that I like to think I'm the greatest person in the room at all times. I'm reading your bio here, and I want to hear how great you are, but you were a 40 under 40 honoree.
Yeah.
How old are you right now?
Well, I'm about to be 40. So
you just got this. This is a recent 40
This is a couple years ago, because it's under 40. So I think I got it a couple years ago. We're getting close to 40. I'm running away from it, but it's getting closer. We're a couple months away.
Well, I did not get honored with such the award. And I remember I had many friends get this.
Yeah.
And I remember I saw yours, now you're saying this, and a couple of other guys and girls have been awarded with this. And I'm like, I was under 40 once.
Yeah.
I was doing things.
Yeah. Maybe a late bloomer. I mean,
I'm definitely.
that could be it. Maybe just a late bloomer.
Thank you.
Maybe there's still 50 under 50. We got 60 under 60. We got.
I'm going to start my own awards just for that. But I mean, really, that is a huge award. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
What did you, when you're going through college, you're going through your 20s and 30s. Like, I really am interested. How did you feel when you won that award?
It was cool, man.
Yeah.
I felt really good. I think I, like many, have a little bit of imposter syndrome. So when you get it, you're like, what are these dummies thinking? And so, yeah, I think most of it's kind of just, trying to be humble and accept the award and be grateful for it. But for me, it was definitely 100% imposter syndrome.
Yeah. See, I have the opposite. I'm imposter syndrome on the flip side. I'm just like, I'm the greatest thing of all time. How did this not happen?
Yeah, no, I get it.
Well, listen, you came up, how long have you been with Nabors?
I was actually looking at my LinkedIn the other day. So I've been here about 8.5 years now.
Okay.
Yeah, so my whole career has been in and around drilling rigs. I worked for a small independent drilling company.
What year did you start in that world?
2007, I was roughnecking.
Oh, man.
So 2007, I was roughnecking, and then ended up staying with that company until I came to Nabors. So got to do all the positions on the rig, and then moved through the company, carried the CEO's bag, and changed his oil, and built spreadsheets, and sat in meetings that I shouldn't have sat in. And so it was a cool kind of
unique.
Yeah. I
was
talking to a young gentleman this morning. His name was Cade. He's with Oso Perf, and he's like 2 or 3 weeks into the business, and I was like, man, dude, whatever you can do to sit into meetings that you shouldn't be in and be a fly on the wall is so important
That's great advice, by the
way. And so anyway, I'm hopeful that Cade gets the opportunity to do that.
I mean, that's a nice way to look at we'll give a little Cade a shout out on this.
Yeah.
07.
Yeah.
Boom years.
Yeah.
Boom years for drilling, especially.
Wild.
Yeah. And I'm actually want to hear, because we're going to talk about some of the Nabors technology here in a minute and your role in that. Can you go back and talk about some of the 07, 08 technologies then versus what they look like now? And I mean, I'm sure it feels like if somebody would have shown you 2026 technology in 2007 or 8, you'd be like, this is the future.
And it's funny because back then, at the time we had SCR rigs, but they had a joystick on them, and they had air-conditioned drillers consoles, and so we were excited about this is so cool. There can be nothing that can get better than this. And then there's an automatic catwalk that shows up, and then there's a top drive that shows up, and then you go, there's nothing that can get better than this. And then now we've got automated pipe handling, and so that's definitely something I have learned, is that when you think that you're done innovating, there's always going to be something. This I'm sure you guys have talked a lot about it on the podcast, but there's always an opportunity for innovation, and that's something that's been fun to be a part of.
Well, I think part of the term energy transition is no longer really used. It's more like energy expansion.
Yeah.
But I think what really has been discovered, is probably a better way to say it, of energy transition is that it's the technology advances is what the transition really was.
Right.
Like the advances in technology, the advances in efficiencies, the safety, the way what you're talking about, some of these walking rigs.
Yeah.
That is a energy transition when you can keep people at home versus on the rig safe for safety purposes or away from the danger zone.
Yeah.
I mean that's a phenomenal advance.
Yeah, and a lot of times it's just these like pie in the sky ideas, and if you can get a customer that you're aligned with to commit with you and go on that journey and suffer in some of the pain of serial number one never works out perfectly, right? But if you've got patience and you've got teams that you're working with that you can kind of go through that growing together, then you can wind up where you really start to remove people from the rig floor, and you can start to automate directional drilling, and a lot of these things can happen, but I think anyone that thinks that you're going to go out on serial number one and nail it, I don't think is living in reality. And the reality is a lot of these failures end up creating new opportunities to make the original product better, and you just have to think about it with that mindset.
We just had a well servicing guy on one of the first podcasts this morning, and he essentially said the same thing.
Yeah.
And he's like, we have the financial capabilities to fail fast.
Yeah.
And quite honestly, to fail.
Yeah.
And learn from the mistake. And that's not only with equipment, but with people, right? And, if you can keep good people, then it's an investment in that person.
Yeah.
Because if the person leaves, the investment's gone.
Yeah, man.
And the lessons learned from that person are gone.
I would say that's something that's probably definitely changed in the industry as a whole. I go back to 2007. If something got screwed up on a rig, something broke, someone got hurt, it was whose fault is it?
Right.
And when are they going home?
Right.
Right. And I think all of us have done a pretty good job of learning, like, hey, that guy's never going to do that again, right? If there's somebody that you shouldn't let go of, like, that's the guy that you should.
Yeah, you just how much did you just pay for that lesson to be learned?
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. So, and hopefully he's going to share that with other people, and we won't have those issues.
Well,
again.
at $140 a barrel, 2007, right?
Yeah.
You can churn through people and things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean by that. But $60, $70, or actually $60 oil, and you've got to be careful.
Yep.
You really these efficiencies need to be learned, because the lessons you don't want to pay that price twice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking about this when you were talking about the well servicing guy that was talking about like these growings, and something like I was reminded of, and this is like important in products too. So a lot of things you stick serial number one out, it doesn't work, but there you can see that it's got a future, and so you go through that process. There's something in product management that's called killing your baby. And I think this is actually important in developing and innovating too, which is sometimes you're going to have a serial number one and it's not going to perform, and you want it to work so bad because you loved the idea. But sometimes you actually do need to go,
it can't happen.
It can't happen.
Yeah.
And I think that can be something that's difficult for innovators, and is having the balance of saying this one we keep and this one we don't, when you've already invested your heart, everything into it. So I think that's also something to be mindful of, is some of them you keep and some of them you got to kill.
Yeah. Man, a lot of things just went through my head on that one. There's things like pride.
Yeah.
Right? There's things like time.
Yeah.
You could apply that to bad relationships, for crying out loud. You know what I mean? Like at some point it's just you're just throwing good money or good time after bad, right?
Yeah, it's a sunk cost, and do you want to keep throwing money at it or not? And is that going to prevent you, that time, that effort, that money, from actually developing the next thing that needs to get solved?
Yeah. So Nabors.
Yeah.
An amazing company.
Cool.
How old is Nabors?
Shoot, man, we've been around forever, man.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, since the 40s, we go back to the 40s, and it's been a long road of the team building this company mainly through acquisition in the early days, and I think that's like a lot of what has given us the global footprint that we have today. So, if you look at things that we do in Alaska, that comes from the original Nabors company. Laughlin Brothers, recently Parker. I mean, there's just this acquisition of companies and knowledge, taking the best of what they did and applying it to yours, killing some of the ideas that you had at Nabors originally. And I think that's what makes us unique and special, is that this company has been combined over a very long period of time.
Well, I mean, if I'm being honest, I feel like Nabors has had a really phenomenal last decade.
Yeah.
You know, like it wasn't easy to survive the last decade.
No, it was tricky.
It really was very tricky.
Yeah.
And the companies that I have a business partner that said, let's call this, you know, I'm from the world of frac. I used to sell actually drill pipe to Nabors back in the 2007 through 12 days.
Yeah.
So Nabors was a good customer of mine. We sold small diameter 2 3/8 drill pipe to you guys. So I've always liked Nabors. But then I moved into the frac world, and we were huge in the frac world. And then we weren't. You know, then the downturn happened from 2015 through 17, right? And my partner said to me, he goes, you know, we've got to survive this.
Yep.
And he said at the end of it, he said, whoever's left in the room, no one's going to ask you what you had to do to survive,
That's right?
And we survived. And not only that, we just kept plowing and working, and we were better than ever at the end. And we went from 18 when it bounced, from 18 to 23, record year every year. And, you know, a company like Nabors from 1940s to now, they're going to have to, which they've done, reinvent themselves, figure things out, fail quickly, fail fast, whatever that is. And, you know, I look at Nabors and I'm like, that is a great way to readjust itself in a very tricky market, in a very changing North American climate. And I want to talk about the other international markets as well. And you've been there 8 years, so you've seen kind of the bounce in a big part of that, right? So what does it look like in the last 8 years? How has it felt at Nabors to go from, you know, lack of a better term, carrying the bag, being in rooms, to you're running the show internationally and domestically for these guys in sales?
Yeah. So I think like a couple thoughts come to mind. So when you think about Nabors over a period of time, when you buy these companies, a lot of them are not just well servicing companies. They're not just frac companies. They're not just workovers. They're not just rigs. They always have these other things. And I think as the company grew into what we have today, we were very thoughtful about developing it into what we have today, to the core business. And sometimes that meant spinning things off. Sometimes that meant getting rid of portions of the business that weren't contributing overall. And then most importantly, something that you didn't see as a platform for the future of your company. And I would say, like, one of the things that Tony and Ziggy and team at Nabors did a really good job of is they were always ahead of the curve on rig design, on technology adoption, to the point of, you know, a lot of people going, man, that's way too far out there. It's never going to happen. But if you look at the platform that we have today and the technologies that we're using today, like, these are all things that started 10 years ago, 15 years ago. And at the time, they were crazy ideas that, you know, if you had a boardroom full of people of all just worker bees, they would have all said no to the idea because it didn't make financial sense. But I think the success that we've had have been from that innovation and that entrepreneurial mindset.
That much forward-looking thinking, really.
Yeah, man. And if I'm being honest, like, I don't know that I would have made those decisions back then on, like, some of the investments that they were making, internalizing all of our controls and automation, building robotic rigs. I don't know that I would have done that, but I hope I would.
What years are you talking about when you're saying this?
So if you go back to, like, even the early 2000s, like the idea of pulling a top drive, which was an offshore piece of equipment, onto land, like, that was something that was an insane idea. You have offshore, you have static equipment that's not moving. You've got to figure out how to get that thing in and out. And again, back to growing pains, like, trust me, there was a lot of downtime on those top drives, and I think the whole industry. But, you know, we were the first to kind of get that out there and go through that learning curve. And you can't do what we're doing today without that piece of equipment. And that's just one component of it. But then if you, like, fast forward to now, like, and look at all of the automation that we're running on the rig, like, we couldn't do what we're doing today, and we couldn't partner with all these people that we're partnering with, like, to run our platform if we hadn't built it in-house. So, like, you know, Corva, Halliburton, Schlumberger, Roji, all these guys live on this platform. If we had went and bought one, you're going to use all their stuff. And again, we went through a ton of growing pain building this thing ourselves, but it worked out pretty good.
You know, Corva loves you guys.
Yeah, we love them.
Yeah. That's great to hear, because it's mutual. You know, we've done a lot. Ryan is a very sharp guy. And so is his team. The CTO over there is just a genius. I'm trying to think of his name right now. He's an Aggie.
Yeah, so I spend a lot of my time with, not as much recently, we've both been busy, but Ryan, I certainly love Alisher and Dharmesh, those guys.
They're sharp.
Yeah, man, I always tell Alisher, man, he's like the most interesting man in the world, man. He's a man of mystery, man. He's just such a cool dude.
Yeah, they are. Yeah. They're impressive.
Yeah, when I grow up, I want to be as cool as Alisher. You may have competition for like coolest dude in the room when Alisher walks in, you know?
You know, just give me a bunch of money.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, just give me a bunch of money, and I'll be cool. I can do cool stuff at that point.
Yeah.
You know, that's why I was asking what years you were talking about.
Yeah.
Because sometimes, you know, you don't know what's an advantage until it's over.
Yeah.
Right? You know, when you're down, being down's an advantage sometimes.
Yeah.
When you're at the top, it's really hard to see, to put yourself in perspective of the underdog.
Yeah.
You know, and you guys were number one a long time.
Yeah.
You know, and it's kind of nice to learn how to fight again.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
No,
right?
no, I get it, and I mean we're having a ton of fun right now. I mean,
I'm telling you, the comeback has been. I mean, I've always, everybody knows Nabors.
Yeah.
You know, Nabors is a huge worldwide brand. Let's be honest. It's not a brand that you have to teach people who Nabors is.
Yeah. I'll tell you this. I'll tell you a funny story about that. So when I joined Nabors, I was in West Texas, and I came from a small drilling company that was South Texas based, privately owned company. Most people hadn't heard of it, right? And I thought I was a pretty good sales guy. I'd pick up the phone, and I'd try to get in to go see that drilling manager. I could never get in to go see that drilling manager. The next week, I go from Office 1 to Office 2, and I've got a Nabors name now, right? And I call that same stinking drilling manager that I've been trying to get a hold of for 2 years. And I say, hey, I'm Brett with Nabors. Come on over.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell, man?
Dude.
Like, this is...
Same Brett.
This is not fair. This is not cool. But, yeah, we experience it all over the world, man. Like, whether it's Algeria or Oman or, you know, Azerbaijan, it doesn't matter where we show up. When you're with Nabors, like, they're going to make the time, which is
that's awesome.
It's flattering, and it's a cool thing, and we're lucky to have the brand and reputation that we do. And
well, you're adding to it. That's for sure.
Yeah, appreciate that.
Let's see. What do I want to? They give me notes.
Yeah.
They give me
any good ones?
I don't know. Everyone's so prepared. So this is the Caterpillar.
Yeah.
Right. By the way, I said cat. They're like, we're not cat.
It's Caterpillar.
Caterpillar.
Okay.
I'm like, oh, okay.
Do we emphasize the R?
Well, I don't. How do you say Caterpillar?
I don't know.
Caterpillar.
Yeah.
I say Caterpillar, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Catter.
Yeah, I don't know that I have that R in there. Yeah.
By the way, they're so great.
Yeah.
They're a 100-year-old company.
Yeah, and we're a big customer of Caterpillar. We've got a lot of time and a lot of love for Caterpillar, and have for a long time. So,
yeah. Well, I mean, again, at some level, everybody touches Caterpillar, right?
Yeah.
They're enormous. They've been around 100 years. We used to sell them steel.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're doing a forging in the Midwest, you're working with Caterpillar at some point, machining or otherwise.
Yeah.
But you know, they 100-year-old business. You know, you think they haven't seen something since 1926?
And I'll tell you something about them too. Is like, you want to talk about product management and developing products. Caterpillar has done a very, very good job. My neighbor across the street actually just moved to Chicago with Caterpillar, but talking to him about product, they do a very good job thinking through how to build the right thing, solve problems that people care about, problems that people are willing to pay money for, problems that are pervasive throughout the industry.
By the way, what a great point you just brought up there.
Yeah.
Problems that people are willing to pay money for.
Yeah. I mean, like that's how I think of it. I think of three things. Number one, is it a problem we're solving?
Yep.
Number two, is it a pervasive problem? Meaning, am I only solving Josh's problem, or am I solving everyone's problem, or a large? And then number three, the important
are they going to pay for it?
Are they going to pay for
Correct.
it? They got those three things. It's probably
we're interested.
Yeah.
You can't. The 90-10 rule doesn't really.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Let's go to someone else. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I always tell people that tier 1 brands like to work with tier 1 brands.
That's right.
Yeah. So that's exactly where you guys are. I'm really interested in technology.
Yep.
I want to know how you guys are using technology.
Yep.
So do you have anything that you want to highlight on that front?
I mean, a couple things. So, like on the...
Because my partner Richard is sitting over there, and if I really want to annoy Richard, I just walk around saying AI.
Yes.
I'm like, we do AI.
Yeah.
He's like, Josh, we don't do AI. I'm like, we do it. We're all inclusive. We do it all inclusive AI. That's not apparently what AI stands for. But so that's my annoying thing to him. I do. But what in the world of technology are you guys getting into?
So a couple things, and I'm probably going to miss some. I didn't prepare. No,
this is, by the way,
a couple things. So number one.
What do you think is the coolest? How about that?
I think there's two things that come to mind. So number one is around automation and robotics and pipe handling, right? So again, a roll of the dice 10 years ago that looked insane was us trying to figure out how we could automate pipe handling, again, onshore. On an offshore vessel or platform that's static, building something like that, it's not tricky. When you have to move the rig every 30 days, every 45 days, and move that pipe handling system becomes increasingly difficult. So I think one of the cool things that we're doing is around automated pipe handling. We have a system that we've built in-house, which is called Razor. We've got 2 of those deployed right now. And again, we were fortunate to have a customer, serial number 1, you go through growing pains, and then serial number 2 or serial 1.5, like you can really start to roll on it. It's starting to roll right now. The objective for us in the short term is top quartile performance with that customer, and then in the basin against our own rig. So you got to be top quartile.
Okay.
And then you want to be top 10%, and then you need that to be the best, right? Because all of these things, like, so pipe handling is a good example. So when you start the conversation with a customer, they go, and this is actually a good product lesson, they go, hey, we want to do this because we want to get people out of the way. We want to be safe, right? And you go, hey, we've got a solution for that. And you put it out there. And they go, hey, we haven't gotten anyone hurt. Everyone is safe. But that other one's a little bit faster.
Yeah.
You know, that other guy, you know, I know they've got hands in the way, but it's a little bit faster.
Yeah.
And so it starts off altruistic, but ultimately, just for the reasons that you talked about, the efficiency and the demand and the pressure of pricing, like, eventually you have to figure out how to get faster. And so when we went to iteration 2, it was like, look, we know that we can get people out of the way, but we've got to figure out how to do it better than we're doing it today with people. And so, like, that's kind of where a lot of this process has gone through to get us to where it's at. So I think that's one thing. And then the second thing is, like, this platform that we've built, this automation platform on the rig that Corva and Halliburton and Schlumberger and others can tie into. And we're really proud of the fact that we have this open ecosystem where if any customer of ours builds their own app, that they want to have their own auto driller, they want to have their own widget, it can tie directly into the rig. And we've seen a lot of really good success with that. Those are the 2 cool things. There's others.
Well, you know, it's funny when you're talking about that equipment. I guess I didn't realize how much equipment manufacturing Nabors is doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, I would always think you guys would go to other capital equipment manufacturers for that, but you're doing a lot of that in-house.
Yeah, we can do a fact check on the caption here, but the last that I heard is that behind NOV we have the largest number of top drives in the world. So NOV number 1, Nabors number 2, because and if you think about it, we had can rigs, a significant number of can rig top drives in the world, and then we bought Tesco, which had another large portion of top drives in the world. So we can fact check me, but the last I heard is that behind NOV we have the largest number of second largest number of top drives in the world, and so we are a very large equipment manufacturer. And
that's a nice differentiator, really.
Yeah, and then again, it's all vertically integrated, and so when you start to think about when we had the need for this was back, you know, in the early 2000s when people were pumping out rigs and you couldn't get top drives, you couldn't get engines, and so we vertically integrated this thing and we were able to build it to what it's at today.
Well, again, I was in the steel business in those times. I remember all the forging castings, investment castings, et cetera, and all that stuff. All right, I want to talk about the market.
Yeah.
Let's start with North American market.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the North? You know, what year did you actually start in 07?
7.
So that would let's see if we can put our caps on here. That's the rig count was probably 2,500 back then.
Yeah. We're over 1,500 somewhere.
Oh, it was over 2,000 for sure.
Okay.
Yeah,
because we had the dip in 2008, the natural gas.
Yep.
But there were a lot. Yeah, so I've fortunately or unfortunately seen the
couple ups and downs.
Yeah, for sure.
And then, you know, obviously productivity's improved the entire time.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, what do you think the market is North America now? What do you think it's going to be doing in the next couple of years? And, you know, we're at this conference and everybody, there's lots of talk of, you know, consolidation because there's a lot of E&P companies here, but it's more about just efficiencies.
Yeah.
And obviously you guys are seeing that. You're hearing that. So your North American market, thoughts? I don't want to put words in your mouth.
No. I mean, I think, I don't know, this may be.
And I won't hold you to this. If you don't like it, we'll delete it.
No, I think it may be an unoriginal opinion, but I think it's the general consensus. I mean, Brett's crystal ball says that, U.S. land will remain relatively flat, but it's going to have a little bit of a downward curve on it. I don't know where that thing finally flattens out at, and I'll talk about maybe, again, Brett's opinion on like what that may be. But the reality is, again, you need fewer rigs to drill the same number of wells, which is going to drive that rig count down. Number two, when operators consolidate together, 10 plus 10 does not equal 20. So like I think that's a second contributing factor. Now, my hope is, and this is maybe my optimistic hope, is that as we start to get into this tier 2, tier 3 acreage, the need to keep up punching holes in the ground could potentially increase. And if that's the case, there could be some stabilization on that downward curve. Now,
can you say that part again? For the needs, the tier, say that one more time.
Yeah, so if you're drilling, so right now everyone is focused mostly on their tier 1
Correct.
areas, right? As you start to move into lower rock and reservoir quality, in order to keep your production numbers where they're at, you may need to drill more, or what is probably more likely to happen is you need to innovate and you need to figure out how to frack better,
right,
how to produce better, and so there's some things that are happening on both sides of that. Now, as a pure driller, my hope is all that crap doesn't work out, and we just punch more holes in the ground. So I think
that's the part I don't want to hold you to that, but it sounded optimistic. That's why I wanted to hear it.
Yeah, and the truth is probably somewhere in the middle of there.
I can buy that.
Ultimately, what happens, but yeah, I mean that is the reality. I think if you look at the completions world, the production world, they are figuring out on this what should be crappy acreage, how to make it squeeze out some good juice.
Well, so what I've done here is I've set you up.
Ooh.
Yes, because I do have kind of a loaded agenda here at the very end, if you want to call it that. But it's a positive spin because I'm so pro Middle East right now that I need someone to talk me off the ledge. I believe that I forget we're on a podcast here. Sorry, people are walking. We're live. We're live on the suite level here. I believe that the Middle East is just going to boom for years. Yeah. And Nabors, perfectly positioned, internationally. What does that look like for you guys? You don't have to speak specifically on the Middle East, but what does your international footprint look like?
Yeah, I mean, about half of our business, maybe a little bit more.
Is it really?
Is international.
Oh, okay.
I mean, so if you look at Saudi, for example, so we have a joint venture with Aramco. We jointly own a drilling company together that's called Sanad. So today we've got over 50 rigs running in Kingdom with Aramco. We've had a large presence in the Middle East, North Africa, Southeast Asia, Caspian region for a very, very long time. This is, for us, I think it's one of our strengths is that there's not a lot of places that we've been to there's not a lot of places that we can go that we haven't already seen something similar. We haven't already been there.
I would think that's true. Yeah.
And I think again, if you look from a equipment perspective, we've got rigs in Alaska. We had rigs in Russia. We have rigs in the desert. We've had rigs in the jungles. We've had rigs in beautiful East Texas. But we have, from an engineering perspective, all of those things require different types of solutions. And then on the people side, each area has its own dynamics, whether it's union, whether it's local content requirements, whether it's geopolitical and risk and security and things like that. We've kind of been through all of those things. And so I'd say for us, if you're right in your optimism of international growth, which I would say we are also optimistic about that, we are very uniquely positioned. That there's really not a country that you can point to or an environment that you can point to that we can't go execute on because we've probably already done it. And now we know how to scale it and bring the technology and bring this equipment into those areas.
Well, I mean, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
The loaded question wasn't really for me. It's loaded for you. I just feel like the people like Nabors are uniquely positioned here.
Yeah, yeah, and man, I'll tell you, dude, it's a lot of these places are not easy to get into, especially if you've been lower 48 focused and you go
exactly.
call on a customer and you create a relationship and you provide
it doesn't
value
happen.
It doesn't work like that, right? And even just incorporating your company, getting on the tender list, these tenders are all very long cycle, right? So the thing I may be bidding on today has been in the works for 2 years before the tender process, right? And so if I'm setting up my company today because there's a tender in a month, I'm 2 years too late, right? Yeah. And so I think that, that's the important thing. Now, there's other areas of the world that I think you can be a bit more nimble in, and I am a huge fan of Argentina, right? I mean, and I'll talk about that a little bit. I mean, if you look at the Vaca Muerta shale in Argentina, They are drilling very similar wells to us. One of the cool things about Argentina is, like, when we're deploying technology in the U.S., and not so much today, but let's go back a couple of years ago. I've got this cool new auto driller. It's going to do better than a driller can. Your engineers are going to program it, and it's going to make sure that it happens exactly the way you want it to on the rig. And AI and all the cool mumbo jumbo is going to make it work really good. Okay. Well, I get it to the well site, and the company man goes, "This thing can't do it better than I can."
Right.
I've been
same
doing
attitude no matter what country.
Yeah. Well, no. So here in the States, that's, you got a lot of company men, you got a lot of company representatives. I did it this way. My dad did it this way. My grandfather did it this way, and this is how you drill this well. Where you go to Argentina, and there is such, number one, a highly educated population that is driven by innovation, that wants to do things similar to what we're doing, but they don't want to go through the growing pains that we go through. So when you deploy something there, everyone is bought in. CEO, drilling manager, company man, everyone. And the success that you have with technology there is far better,
really?
I think. Yeah, in the adoption phase than here. And they are smoking wells down there, and it's a little bit easier to operate. Getting money out is a little bit tricky, but Mr. Malay has...
They're changing some things.
Yeah, Mr. Malay's done a really good job helping things out there. So that's another cool spot that maybe not Middle East, but it's a cool spot.
Well, yeah, you did take me off my Middle East, track.
Oh yeah, so Middle East, like I would say, like there's a good growth opportunity. Obviously, the reservoirs over there are incredible, and from a capital equipment perspective, they're still buying stuff, right? It's like, so for our capital equipment business, CanRig, like it's a really good business for that. My hope is that I think there's an opportunity to be a bit more nimble on their decision making. I think that could benefit them, and I think that would help drive performance as the key metric for equipment selection rather than just price. And I think that's something that kind of still needs to get worked through in some parts of the world.
So where do you live in Houston?
Yeah.
Okay, but you're traveling constantly.
A lot.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Where are you spending? Just all over the place.
Yeah,
checking on your teams, I would imagine.
Yeah. Spread out quite a bit between South America, the Middle East, North Africa. We've been spending a lot of time in North Africa. We've got a great partnership right now in Libya, so we've got a few rigs running through that partnership right now. Algeria as well.
Man, you're all over the place.
Yeah. Some fun places.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So we've kind of all over the place. Yeah.
Is there anything that I haven't asked you about that I need to know about, that the people need to know about? This is, by the way, you are speaking to the people right now.
Yeah. Well, number one, I did want to tell you this, and for those of you that are listening in your car right now, I'm gonna stop the job on you right now.
Yeah.
So for those of you that listen to podcasts, you probably also subscribe to Josh on Instagram. And one thing I want to call you out on is this dude gets on his phone and FaceTimes and does his things while he's driving. This is not a good idea, dude.
It's not safe.
And you are not setting a good example. And so for those of you that are driving right now, my ask of you is be like Josh and be cool and be successful and be smart. Don't be like Josh and get on your damn phone and FaceTime while you're driving. That is not a good idea. And
so
I want to challenge
you.
And I want to challenge
you're
you.
You're right. I get a lot of flack on that. I will reconsider this. I've justified it in my head that, like, I'm only in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
I'm under 40 miles an hour, but that's just stupid, isn't it?
Where the kids are riding their bike, dude?
Just little children.
Yeah. 10 points apiece, right?
You know what? I will accept that.
Good.
That is a I'm a big iron sharpens iron guy.
Yeah.
That is I truly accept it. I don't think I want to be better as a person.
Yeah, because, man, I want to listen. You always got good things to say, but in the back of my mind, I'm going, dude,
this
that's
idiot.
dumb.
Get off the phone.
Stop it, man.
This is where I need friends in big companies.
That's right. Yeah, and I'm not saying that you need 3 points of contact while walking the stairs here at Daikin.
But you know what's really funny is if you watch me, I actually do that when I used to visit with Schlumberger.
Yeah.
They were on you.
Yeah.
3 points of contact.
Yeah.
And when you would exit their parking lot, honk before you'd back out.
Right.
At Smith too. So I actually accept your rebuke.
Good.
And I will not do it.
Yes, thank you.
Love it. This is great.
Yeah.
Well, other than, me, is there any advice that you would give to your younger self?
Man.
That you, a piece of advice, a piece of wisdom, something you've learned? By the way, your younger self, you just got 40 under 40. I'm not real happy with that, but whatever. Yeah. Congratulations.
Thank you.
To your success.
I would say
whatever.
I would say, like, kind of what we opened with talking about, Cade, man. Like, I think if you are young in the industry, actually, two things. number one, if you're in this industry, the first thing that you need to do is get yourself as close to the rotary table for as long as you can. You're going to want to get to the comfy office. You're going to want to get to the big meetings. But the more time that you can spend at the rotary, you will not regret it, and you will use that experience the rest of your life. And I think you can also attest to this. Doing the dirty work sometimes pays off. So I think,
buddy.
Yeah, I know.
I'm serious.
Yeah. So I think that
I've been the janitor.
I know. So I would say that would be number one. Man, you just got out of college and you want to do the cool thing and you want to wear the sweater vest and you want to go, but dude, you got to get close to the rotary table, close to the frac spread, close to whatever it is that you're doing. I think that's number one, and stay there a little bit longer than you need to.
Okay.
The second thing is, once you get done with that, find a mentor and figure out how you can sit into meetings you shouldn't be in. And you're not going to say anything. You're just going to listen, and you're going to absorb, and you're going to observe how people behave, and you're going to understand how deals are made, and you're going to understand all of these dynamics. I'd say those are two super important things. And do the stupid jobs. I was getting my boss's oil change. I was washing his car. I was building stupid spreadsheets for him that I thought meant nothing. And I can tell you that all of those things have helped develop me into the person that I am today. So when you're doing the stupid job, I promise, you doing that stupid job for him is going to allow him and give him the confidence to bring you into that next meeting that you should be in. You're going to contribute nothing, but he's investing in you.
You know, you remind me. I typically want to end this on that, but you reminded me of a great story. When I was 23, 24, I was living in Los Angeles. This is my first job post college, so I was 23, and I had just got a new car. My boss worked for IBM, so I had to wear a suit every day. And, this is a suit with a tie. So my car was clean. I was in my suit. I looked good. I got a haircut. Time to go to work. And I pull up to the stoplight, and I'm like, man, I look great. I'm ready for work today. And I'm looking in the mirror, kind of checking myself out. I'm like, look how great I look today. It's ready to I'm going to kill work. It's awesome. And then I look in front of me. There's a plumbing truck. And then there's a FedEx truck. And then there's another kind of work type truck, right? And as I'm staring at these three trucks all at the stoplight, it just hit me. It's 8 a.m., we're going to work. And it realized, Josh, these guys are going to work. You're not special.
Yeah.
You're going to work.
Yeah.
Your car looks different, but you're all going to work.
Yeah.
Dude, take a breath, buddy.
Yeah.
Just this is what it's, so that I appreciate your saying, go to the rotary table, do the thing. Just acknowledge what we're all trying to make it here, buddy.
Yeah, man. It's so important, and I think it can make you a better leader in the future, and you can contribute to the business better if you know what's happening there at the ground level. By
the way, I'm not looking at my watch to be rude. I'm looking at my watch to acknowledge your hard stop here.
Thank you.
This has been a pleasure.
Yeah.
We're going to see you at the soiree.
We'll be there, man.
In November.
Yeah. We went to the inaugural. We went to last year's.
You did. You've always been great.
Yeah, and so we're
this one's going to be ridiculous.
We're ready, man. We're ready.
I told everybody I want a stage on the water.
Yeah.
I said I want a whole stage on the water, and I want to be able to give a speech back. And Mark Amicus is like, and I said, and I want a piano on this. And Mark, he's great, but he thinks I'm a total idiot.
Yeah.
And he goes, Josh, you're going to electrocute everybody.
Yeah.
And I'm like, we'll figure it out, man. Come on, we'll figure it out.
He's the yin to the yang.
Yes.
You need someone like Mark, and shout out to Mark on all of his hard work putting all this stuff together,
isn't this
man.
incredible? Yeah.
And Andy, I've known Mark since the early days, the old Doug conferences back in the early 2000s, man.
Yeah, Mark's just great.
Mark for a long
He's
time.
changed the trajectory of our company for sure. There's no doubt about it.
He's a good dude. Yeah.
Well, listen, Brett Schellenberg, VP of Global Sales at Nabors Industries, thank you for your time.
Thanks.
If there's anything we can do for you, just let us know. This is the Energy Pipeline Podcast, sponsored by Caterpillar. Check out their website, caterpillar.com. This is their oil and gas one. Have you ever seen their setup?
Oh, yeah.
They got a hell of a setup,
yeah.
and really, we're pretty excited to be working with these guys. And they said, hey, we're going to do this. And I went and met with these guys, and you realize how organized a 100-year-old company is.
Oh, yeah.
And Josh, we sent you an email, and I'm like, I'll go ahead. So, Brett, thank you for everything, buddy. Good luck to you, my man. Tear it up.
Later.